This morning we've come to the Grampian Transport Museum to be greeted by an IMEV, flanked by a Golf city stroller built in 1995, and of course the well-known electric Leaf, seen here in rally car mode. Immediately inside you come across this 1899 General Electric. There's also this post office converted lead acid delivery van. The electric street vehicles continue with these tram cars. The two tram cars are of interest, one being a Great North of Scotland Railway tram car which used to serve Cruden Bay Hotel, and the other is the only surviving Aberdeen car. All the Aberdeen fleet was set on fire and then the scrap merchants moved in. But this car started life as a horse-drawn tram, was converted to electric, and then in the mid-20s was converted back to its horse car operation state and remained that way to the end. Thus it was preserved. There's also a collection of steam traction engines, Sentinel lorries, and a very unusual early replica. This 1802 replica has 8-foot wheels designed to make the road surfaces of the day more smooth. The body is typical carriage wagon design of the day, whilst underneath there's a Trevithick steam engine and boiler, with the piston driving this huge geared wheel on the massive 8-foot drive wheel. Steering is by the single wheel at the front, and the driver perches in front of the whole contraption, very much in the open. The whole machine was built as a replica in the 1980s. The Grampian Transport Museum has a nice collection which ranges from bikes to American muscle cars to collections of individual people. It covers horse-drawn transport, many of which are Scottish-built carriages, has a nice collection of veteran-built Scottish cars from Arrol Johnson, Albion and Argyll, and the second oldest Rolls-Royce ever made, still in working order. Fairly modern BMC Morris and AD16s are up in the air for you to be able to view under, and these make interesting viewing as you walk round and able to view the underside of the car. There's also a collection of more exotic classic vehicles like the E-Type, Lotus, TVR, MGA and MGB. Although the MGB is a Costello-built V8, so it's rather quick. Appropriate to Scotland is this collection of post office vehicles. And of course the Land Rover was needed to access the winter routes up in the Highlands. Reliance have always had an Austin 7 interest for me. Here is an early Reliant with an Austin 7 engine, and then the later Regal estate beautifully preserved. This rare Halley Scottish-built truck is unusual, and this American Mack truck served Grampian region for many years as a huge snowplow. You could even sit inside the Mack truck, but its left-hand drive American origins are instantly recognisable. Upstairs there's a small but quite good selection of very early bicycles, including a penny farthings, and these develop into the more recognisable bikes of today, including of course the Rally Chopper. There was even a small display on Percy Shaw's Cat's Eyes, proving that I'm not the only person to collect these things. You can see when I turn the light on how these actually function at night. It was interesting to see this Barn 5 Durant. This was presented in 2009 after the owner laid it up in 1959 with a back axle catastrophe. It's pleasing to note that they are planning to restore it rather than leave it in its existing state. The entrance hall has got a 1924 Daimler shooting brake complete with paintwork stylised to look like wood. It's on loan from Sandringham to celebrate the coronation of King Charles. This second 1900 Daimler Phaeton was ordered by Edward when he was Prince of Wales, and this was the first royal car. We seem to be collecting AA boxes on this particular holiday, and the organ is a somewhat unusual but spectacular backdrop to one of the funny outspan orange BMC Mini based cars. Sadly, the museum does not have an Alvis directly, but this 1920 Kenilworth motor scooter was designed in Coventry. Its engineer was Captain Smith Clark, who designed the 1250 engine, so there is an Alvis link after all. On the way home with the Grampians in the background, this is possibly the furthest north the car is going to get